Um, just a little insight for y'all. I know y'all also probably wondering. Well, what about YoungBoy? YoungBoy just dropped a project. By the way, I know people were so upset at me. They were like, "Yo, why'd you lie on YoungBoy?" Yo, I don't. You know what? I won't even say anything. But like, if y'all really think that I would just make up, just get up one day and be like, just randomly tweet that, nigga, I wake up, YoungBoy and like five other niggas that usually calls me for some music shit, because I guess they probably have their team shit on like FaceTime. They'll just add me on to this shit. So I see five niggas on there and be like, yo, telling people I'm about to drop. Like, all right. He's like, yo, he said, I deactivated my shit. I said, oh, I didn't even know. So, okay, all right, cool. Now, what ended up happening, and there's a lot of like situations that goes in. I can't speak on most of the stuff. And out of respect, I wouldn't even bring it here. But if you're wondering why the music was a little bit late, because it was supposed to come out that night, YoungBoy is impulsive. Shit, I'll say this part. I talked to his manager. His manager was like, yo, Act, that nigga called you before he even told me. I didn't even know he wanted to drop it that night. And even then, we were trying to see if we could push it back a couple days, because we could have blah, 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 blah. That nigga was just like, no, I'm dropping it now. So again, that's YoungBoy. So, you know, they figured it out. You know, everybody on his team did what they had to do. Some people handled, you know, the track list and the mix and the master, and they got it out. It was initially supposed to be a YouTube release. So let me explain this whole Atlantic thing, because everybody's like up in arms. Really up in arms. And by the way, I expected it to be a YouTube release as well. I'm giving y'all, this is priceless information. Again, I'm talking to y'all as fans. I know some of y'all might have zero idea about how the music business works. Also, it's the same thing with Meek Mill. Meek Mill just got out of a contract. If you don't know how the music business works, nobody got you hot for you to walk to your competitor. It doesn't work like that. Meek Mill right now cannot drop on DSPs. He's going to probably be dropping a lot on YouTube. Usually what happens is that when you are in a contract and you get out of that contract, there's usually a grace period that you have to wait to drop music. Usually sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's 6 months. YoungBoy contractually cannot drop music everywhere at this moment. He's out of his contract, but it says in the contract, just like it says in the contract with everybody else. So it's not just YoungBoy. It's how the music business works. YoungBoy drops too frequently. That's the thing. So you'll see it affect him. But the reason why you think Meek don't got like a whole project cooked up, but he probably has to wait a certain time. By the way, I think when he was tweeting about it, he was tweeting about his problems with Atlantic, he was talking about that, the fact that he has to wait. That's just what it is. If I signed an artist and you and we end the deal was going to be in that contract, this is how record contracts work, you cannot drop music for a certain amount of time. You know what that means? You're not going to use me as a springboard for your new deal that you may have negotiated while you're with me. That's how it goes. Okay? So initially, and that was initially thought, this was only going to be a YouTube release. This was not supposed to be on Spotify and other places like that. Now, granted, Atlantic could have blocked it. I'm telling you how this goes. Atlantic could have blocked this whole tape to say, yo, you dropping this project is going to hurt us because the project you drop with us is still being circulated. Now you're promoting a new project. That's the point of the grace period. You get what I mean? Like, think about it. Meek dropped his last album. They got whatever budget for it. They did all that shit for it. A record label's like a bank. They're not trying to get their money back today or tomorrow or next month or the next month. They're like, yo, we could wait 3 years for this shit. But around like 3 years, they think they should be at least recouped. So when you're getting out of a deal, they want to get at least a year with you having nothing out. Right? And that's how they approach many people's deals. It's going to be in every deal you sign. Yo, after you get out the deal, 6 months after that day, you could drop with whoever. But you can't drop for 6 months. YoungBoy is not the artist who goes 6 months without putting out music. I think his thought, and by the way, this is not me talking to him. This is me just being savvy when it comes to the music business. Also, I talked to some A&Rs at Atlantic. Like, some of them knew that YoungBoy was going to drop something, but it was understood it was going to be a YouTube release. Now, this is what I do know at this point. YoungBoy and Atlantic talked, and it was basically saying, well, bro, you can't have it up on DSPs till a certain date. How about we just give you a bag? We're going to give you a bag for the shit. We give you, they're out the contract. So it's not like they're out the contract. But because he can't legally, technically put it up on DSPs until after a certain time, I believe he can't really drop new music officially till, like, I don't want to say the date. But YoungBoy he does what he wants to do. So, you know what I mean? Like, I want to drop. He's probably going to have to work around that. So anyway, Atlantic basically said, yo, listen, check this out. We'll throw you a bag. This, obviously, we're out of the contract. You own the masters to this shit, but we get a split on it. And it still comes out under Atlantic. And I think if you look at it, so it's Realer. Here we go. Realer 2. So if you look at the bottom, which I see you guys kind of smart now to realize what the fuck. If you look at the bottom, it's going to say, Never Broke Again LLC, Atlantic Records. Yeah. So Atlantic threw him a bag. And, Atlantic threw him a bag and they put it on DSPs. That works. Somebody said I'm babbling at this point? No. Bro, I'm telling you exactly. Y'all ask me a question and I'm breaking it down exactly what it is, but y'all don't want to hear it. He's a free agent. Well, he may have signed a deal. I don't know about it. I can't say nothing. But he's out of his Atlantic deal. However, anything until the grace period ends, Atlantic could potentially have a say in it. It's not like they have a beef in a relationship, even though sometimes you would see him post it or she would think it is. They gave him a bag and they said, bro, just drop it on here. And, yeah. So still, he's out the deal. It's just that he's dropping quickly. And I think it's smart on his part. I'll give you an example. You know why these grace periods are in contracts? Because labels know that artists need to keep momentum up, and they want to kill your momentum. If you're leaving them, they want to kill it. The time that YoungBoy could drop, his grace period is much shorter than other people's grace period. If you got to take a year off from music because you're leaving a label, would you leave that label? Y'all get that? If you leaving a label means you have to take a year off from making and putting out music, would you leave the label? So it's one of the tactics they kind of use to kind of look at you to be like, well, you know you're going to get cold. Niggas going to forget about you.